CureVac IPO. It's priced at 16. Wow. So they raised $213 million by offering 13 million shares at $16, raising an additional 118 through private placement. Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation invested $40 million in 2015. Huh. That's interesting. Well, you know, again, at this point, at this price, I mean, you're talking about $79 a share. So maybe there will be opportunities there, but they're going to take some buying power to trade. The high is 95.50. So maybe if it breaks over the highs. All right, so CVAC I'll put as one to maybe keep half an eye on. We've got MBOT, which I'm going to be keeping half an eye on, although I don't like how it opened. About 10 minutes to the bell here. Sorry, I don't like how MBOT had the that red candle, how it did the false breakout. I would say EBON, we had talked about has blue sky above 8. In other words, it doesn't have any resistance because those are the all-time highs. So that's a continuation setup based on news from Friday. So there's not fresh news today. You know, again, that could create, on the one hand, a good continuation setup and a fine trade, but might depend a little bit on what happens in the overall market. So I'll say that one's a maybe, and I'll just put an order at $8 so it's ready to go, but it needs to get a little more volume and come up a little bit higher. So I think that with MBOT, you can see here how it's breaking the VWAP. I mean, that's a pretty obvious short there on the break of VWAP. And we'll see how much it comes down. Based on the last few days, leading gappers getting, having just this weakness where they have a nice move early pre-market and then fade. And this is one of those things where I've been trading pre-market, but when the market's really hot, sometimes the action gets earlier and earlier and earlier and earlier until you get to a point where it's like, I'm not getting up. I mean, you can choose to get up if you want it, 5, 6 a.m. to wait maybe for news, but the problem with these is that they're on such light volume, that it just carries more risk. And you can't take big share size. So usually I like to be trading them, kind of on the first pullback or maybe the second pullback. But even those are happening very early in the day on some of these stocks that put out news as early as like 7:30. Craig on Friday was good because they put out news at 9 a.m. So we got an opportunity to trade it kind of right when the news came out, although it didn't hold its levels. LODE, this one, selling off a little bit here as well, and maybe it's a short below the VWAP. But the pre-market pivot here, well, the pre-market high is 90. We've got 6.5 minutes to the bell. And this is one to be mindful of, the fact that it might halt frequently because it's lower priced. Sometimes these stocks that are lower priced, if they halt every 10%, that's every 14 cents. So we'll see when it opens what the halt levels look like, but I would say LODE is worth keeping an eye on. OPTT I've traded a bunch of times. It kind of just has a history of popping up and dropping. I don't know. I'm not that interested in it. I have a hard time thinking it's really going to be a good one. So, Matthias, yes, but sometimes not all stocks have the same thresholds and seem to follow the same rules. It's a little bit confusing. And so I just sort of wait till the bell rings and then see, what the levels are on that particular stock. So again, a reminder, the main room for trade ideas only, and I'd prefer if the majority of the comments are by those who are trading with real money, who have real money on the line, and who have been doing this for a little while, so you kind of have an idea of what you're looking for. The Warrior Lounge is open for folks that want to jump in there and just have questions and want to kind of chat on the side about other things. And the Warrior Pro Room is a great spot for Q&A for pro students if you have questions about the strategy or specific questions about the classes. The classes, of course, are comprehensive and should answer the majority of the questions that a beginner trader would have. T-Con curling up a little bit, but not quite there yet. EBON has a pre-market high of 58, so that one's curling up a little bit as well. My order again is at 8. So this one's kind of interesting because it popped up to 58 and dropped back down to 685. Then it's popped back up here to 750 and now dropped back down to 36. So it kind of keeps popping up and pulling back. $8 is the breakout spot. So EBON over 8. Float's a little higher, but blue sky. All right, so let me switch back to LODE. LODE has pulled back down here to 35. That one needs to get back above the volume weighted average price. So I think at the open, we've got 3 minutes to the bell. I'm probably going to sit tight and just kind of see what the action looks like. I mean, right at the bell, we might see a flush on EBON. We might see a flush on MBOT. Maybe there'll be some opportunities, but I think as long traders, we have to be a little patient. We kind of have to wait for some of these to, sell off, whatever, get shorted. And then if they, despite that, hold up, then I can look at them for, a red to green move, some curling action or something like that. But I don't think I want to be jumping into things really aggressively the way I was last month, because right now it feels like there's, a kind of a headwind on a lot of the momentum stocks. We need one that really goes crazy, and it's been a little while since we had one that was really, really awesome. That not only was, good in the kind of first 5-minute breakout, but then held and gave second, third, and fourth 5-minute setups. CVAC is a higher price, just popped up there on higher volume, as you can see. Volume coming in on the 1 minute suddenly from 79 up to 86. I don't know if that was mentioned on CNBC or something, but all of a sudden some volume coming in. So that would be one. Again, you know, it's a higher priced one. It's one that you get going the wrong way and it could be pretty nasty, but on the other hand, could be pretty solid. So again, pre-trading checklist. I want to remind you guys not to blindly follow me or anyone else. You have to do your due diligence, and you have to realize day trading is risky, and the majority of day traders do lose money. So if you want to be one of the few who are consistently profitable, you got to do something different from what most people are doing, and that starts by trading in a simulator. So trade in a simulator before you ever trade with real money. All right, really, it's so important. Prove you can be profitable in a simulator. You just, even if you really don't think you should do it, just do it for at least a week. And I think what you're going to learn is that, wow, okay, this is a little harder than maybe I thought. Maybe I should stay in the simulator until I'm actually making money here. Because if you can't make money in a simulator, you got no business trading with real money. So at the bell, there's a few that are interesting. I hope you guys have given a thumbs up. Those of you streaming the pre-market watch list, I hope you find this helpful. CVAC, EBON, LODE, and MBOT. Those are the four I'm watching. But not with a really strong bias to any of them, just kind of sitting and watching at the open to see what kind of day it looks like we're going to have. All right, so about 15 seconds to the bell here, and we're going to see if we can make some money. All right, so there's the bell. Remember, let's be patient. Let's let these prove themselves. Let's let them fail. And then if one of them holds up, then that's the one that I'll go for. So I'm coming into this morning with more of an expectation that the market is going to be choppy. It's Monday. I want to start the week with building a cushion before I start to get aggressive. We're looking at a couple different stocks. There's a couple that are interesting. I do like the look here of LODE, possibly. I'm going to wait for it to pull back for a second. The halt level is at 64. I want to see if it holds. I'm going to take a... Oh, God dang it. So my order was too high. I'm taking a long on LODE at 54. I'm thinking that it might go into a halt at 64. So LODE is the one that right now I'm kind of like, okay, this one's opening up a bit. So I'm still holding it. I'm going to give it a chance to pull back, and then the high is 60. So I'm going to put my order at 65 for my next trade. We'll see if it can curl back up through those pre-market highs. Holding 50. I'm going to add at 51 right there. So brings my average down to 53 because it feels like it's basing out there. On the 10-second chart, you can see how it's starting to curl. Over 55 is the breakout spot now. So I want to see it break 55. No, I'm going to cut it at 50. So I'm just going to take the loss at 50. So my add at 51 adds $40 to the loss, but that's not, I'm not worried about that. So red on LODE by $500, green on MBOT by 200. So red up 200 on the day. Now LODE on that break there of the pre-market pivot of 55, it really should have gone. You know, I mean, that was a good setup, and it failed. EBON is interesting because there are some big buyers on the level 2. 40,000 share buyers down in the teens. MBOT is also, I'm along MBOT here for the break of 12. I'm just taking a starter on it. MBOT, as it's curling up here, I'm going to put my order at 12:02 to add. Adding there at 12. So MBOT now is finally breaking over that pre-market area of 12. So let's see if it can get back up to 12.15, 12.20. It's got to hold the $0.50 of 50. Had kind of a nice curl there. It was starting to open up. Now we're back to 11.30, 11.20, back to the pre-market lows. I got to cut the loss. That was a $6,000 loss. So now I'm going a little bit the wrong direction. You know, I took a good size loss on that one. LODE is back up here, but unless it gets halted, I'm a little bit unsure about it. The reason I liked MBOT was because of the red to green setup. So a red to green setup is when it goes from being red like that, and then it rips up right here into the green. Break of 12, I mean, a good setup like that could have given us a squeeze right back to 12.25, 12.50, but this one just couldn't do it. LODE, if it starts to open up a little bit more, so it's got a little high there of 67. The halt level is 83. So I don't think that we're going to see a halt on it because it's not moving fast enough. Now, if it was going to squeeze up and get halted, what you would notice typically is accelerating into that level, starting to really pick up some steam. But when the halt level's a little ways out, you don't really get that. So that was a nice pop there from 65 up to 72. If it breaks over 75, maybe I would start to watch this. I'm watching for a second here. There's a 50,000 share seller at 74, 60,000 share buyer at 71. So we've got big traders, big orders on LODE. And the problem with it right now is that although that was a 10-second entry right there, that's not a it's not a 5 minute. It's not like a good 1 minute pullback yet. Watching. So again, you can see that little 10-second pullback from 74 up to 80. Halt levels moved up to 92. So that was a nice first 1 minute candle to make a new high from 53 up to 78. I mean, not bad. So need to let it pull back and then maybe look for the next trade. Is it going to be able to hold these levels? Red doji at the top, candle of indecision. So beginning a little bit of a pullback. Our high is 78. I'm going to wait for a dip. watching. Starter on LODE at 72. Looking for the first 1 minute candle to make a new high and adding there for the break of 78. Now we've got 80 and I'm adding there at 75 and 70 and 80. So I'm looking for the break of 80 and then a squeeze possibly into the 90s. So watch here over $1.80. We've got 77 on the ask. Nope, stopped out at 72 for a loss. I don't remember how much I was red on it on my first trade, but cut the loss on it. So 2 losses there. Well, red on LODE and MBOT. So false breakout. Need to wait for better quality setups. Yeah, it's a big move on Tesla. My swing trade on it is down $63. So it's actually not too bad at the moment, but I just should keep a close eye on it. So from 70, I mean, the fact is, like, this, the way it kind of looks right now is that we could get a squeeze on Tesla. I mean, I don't know. It would just be such a short squeeze for it to go up to 1800, but high is 15. So I would say if it broke over 15 on Tesla, you know, that would be a possible 17.15 long. So I'll take a long there on Tesla. I'm going to take starter size and then add over 117.20. Just because this is one that can be pretty wild, but I would just try to ride the momentum on it and see if we get a squeeze up to 125, 130. This is one, it's important to be mindful of share size. So the high of that candle was 1744. So new order goes at 117, I'll put it at 117.20. Seems like it might be kind of just starting to open up a little bit. This is a micro pullback under 17. But what I kind of think on this, so I'll just stop out there for now. I'll get back into it if it sets up better. But I think on this, you just might end up seeing a short squeeze on the daily. So it's just timing the entries. The high a day now is 1744. Being higher price and with bigger spreads, you want to make sure you've got pretty dialed in entries. $117, 1744. There's the high. So I'll put my order at 1844. CLRO. Popping up. Light volume though. There's Tesla. High is 19. It's crazy how like that one candle, I mean that just ripped 10 points from 1708 up to 1718. Watch over 1720. High of that candle there is 2170. So 2170, next spot to watch. Yep, and do try to keep in mind, those of you guys, this room is for students trading with real money. So Tesla, I'm watching to try to ride this short squeeze. If it breaks 1725, then I'd be thinking we might get a move up to 1750. So the high of that candle there is 25. I'm going to put an order at 1725. Watching Tesla here. Again, my thought on this is just that it's going to be a short squeeze. Because this has broken that 1689 level on the daily. So now there's no resistance till 1800. So I'm thinking because it's easy to borrow that it's not going to let those early short sellers off the hook. Watching for the first 1 minute candle to make a new high. Smaller size is the way to trade. Long adding there. Now looking for the squeeze up to 1730. So the high there is 25.26. Looking for a test of $30, 1730. Stop at break even. CLPS, I'll check. CLPS, the high was 450. I think when I first pulled it up, I stopped out of Tesla. I think when I first pulled it up, I wasn't sure about the volume. The volume was too light. There's not a lot moving on small caps, so I'm switching to what is moving. Now, if we do see a small cap start to open up, you can see Flux popping up here, 180,000 shares of volume. This is because of the drop, it's got technically room back up higher. But the volume is on the lighter side. Flux now 75.85. Halt levels 505. SHLL, yeah, I see that. AKER. I am not seeing a catalyst there. There's Tesla back up through the high. Micro pullback under 2750. Have to wait for the next pullback on Tesla. So what you're seeing right here, I would think, is maybe early day trading. Short sellers getting squeezed out. The high is 131.92, 132, 133. It's a big move, even with 100 shares, or even with 10 shares. So the high is 32.72. Nope, high is 33.94. Wow. $35, $36. CLRO hit a high of 306, cheaper stock. No, I'm looking to get back in Tesla. I mean, I still have my swing trade, which I don't really want to cover it while this is squeezing up. I'd rather let it pull back a little bit and not overmanage it. So that one I'm just going to let be what it is for right now. But from a day trade perspective, I'm looking at this. The high is 35.81. No, new high. Sorry, 37.50. High of that candle there, 38. So this is one of the challenges with Tesla. You're dealing with bigger numbers, so it's like, even for me, I'm not used to looking at the numbers this big and then calculating the spread of 98 cents, and then wait, it's over the dollar, so it's $1.10 or whatever it is. AKER I had looked at, but then kind of looked away from. So, I mean, just this is a Tesla short squeeze. This is exactly what it is right now. The high there is 43. You just have to be really careful because, you know, this can keep going. Or it could also have a really sharp pullback. So the high right there is 44.78. So wait for the pullback. This is getting top heavy. I'm going to put an order at 50 just to see if it, on a micro pullback, gives us a trade in this area, but I'm thinking it's due for a dip. OPTT I've traded a bunch of times and I haven't done very well on. So I'm buying Tesla here for a quick break of the $0.50 of 17.50. I want to catch the break of the $0.50 and then wait for the pullback off this level. There's 48.85. Look at that break. Holding 250 shares with a stop at break even. Sold the rest break even. That was a live stop. So now I think we're going to get a little bit of a pullback. That's a red doji at the top. My best exit on that was 51.85. And, you know, it's annoying because I can't log into TD Ameritrade to manage the trade, the swing trade, but at least I have the day trade. So topping tail doji. But yeah, I mean, it kind of feels like it's just irrationally strong. So, I mean, to me, but you know, they've got the reverse split news. It's got no resistance till 1800, although that was a red topping tail candle. So, I'm not sure. So, what's our current high? 54. So I'm going to move an order up to 54. But I think it needs to do an ABCD pattern. That first 1 minute candle to make a new high right there went from 47 up to 51, 74, and has now pulled back. The low of this last pullback down here at 42. So even though you could say this is a higher price stock, and it is, the volatility in it is to me telling me that it's worth watching. A break below 42.60 would be probably a short. You know, if small caps are weak, I'm not going to trade them. So there's a squeeze through the high of 54. There's a 10,000 share seller at 55. So it's going to have to get through that seller. I'll put an order at 55 if that seller breaks. But, you know, the biggest challenge with this stock is just that you're talking about 5-point stops, $5 a share. Can't trade this with big size. Five minutes extended. It's very extended. Needs to pull back. LODE, let's look. Maybe over 62, but it's very thickly traded. BIMI is moving up a little bit more, but still on light volume and no news catalyst. Thickly traded means it's kind of like a tug of war. Lots of buyers, lots of sellers, crowded. So just a little bit more difficult to trade in general. So I have $2,400 of profit on Tesla. You know, it's not home run stuff, but it's green. Now, if I could find something that's lower priced, I'd be happy to trade it. Something that, you know, looks good. But I'm red on LODE right now. I'm red on MBOT right now. BIMI, it's moving up. You know, it definitely is moving up. The high right there is 38, 40, but it's below the 200. It doesn't have a news catalyst that I see. Let's see. This is the headline from today, that the 10Q will be filed late. That's the only headline that I see. Now, sometimes technical breakouts will have a move even with no news or very poor news. Early short sellers try to short it. Next thing you know, it starts to squeeze up. So that can happen, and that can be a setup. But usually that's a setup when the overall market is really hot. But what we might have on BIMI is traders who just say, you know what, it's moving, I'm jumping on it, I don't care, I want something to trade. And that desperation, you know, all of a sudden momentum picks up. But you have upside resistance at 282, which is a 200 moving average. So I don't know that I don't know. I mean, it's very close to that level. So I don't know why a TC2000 would show the moving average in a different spot. Let me just try to open up my chart a little bit more. Yeah, that's interesting. That's a big difference. I don't know. So the high there was 50. It's pulled back now to 39. CLRO, LODE, CLRO, the daily resistance is up here around 320. But pretty light on volume as well. Yeah, but pre-market data shouldn't make a difference with the daily 200. I mean, so I don't know. CLPS, let me look. I don't know. I mean, yes, if it breaks over 450. But it's a little ways away from that level. KNDI on the daily over 1030 looks good. I do see EBON coming back up to the volume weight average price. Tesla, first 5 minute candle to make a new high will probably be worth keeping an eye on. The pivot there is 48.60, but you know that is a little extended. Back in Tesla, taking a starter, and over 1750 would be an add. I'm trying to time the first 5 minute candle to make a new high, so I'm going to give it a second here. The high of this current candle is 47.82, and this 5 minute candle ends in 20 seconds. So 47.82 would be my add for the first 5 minute candle to make a new high. I'll put my order at 1754. So I'll put it, 54. Just put it up a little higher. Looking for the first 5 minute candle to make a new high. So high of that candle there's 1747.82. So I'm going to go like that and that. EBON, yeah, that's not entirely surprising. So I start with 500 and then go up to 1,000 and then go to 2,000 if I think it looks good. So over 1750, I'd be going up to 2,000 shares. I might scale up a little bit more than that, but we'll see. Orders at 1750. So looking for the first 5 minute candle to make a new high and a retest of the $0.50. High there is 82. Stopped out. So that gave back the profit that I had on it. LODE. Yeah, I don't know. High is 72. High a day is 80. So that's the level that needs to break. So we didn't actually get the first 5 minute candle to make a new high on Tesla. RXT. Was there news on it? So like no volume, and then that one candle, a lot of volume into a halt. Amazon to invest. Okay, so let me look at that. Can someone paste the headline for me? Just so I can see it. Interesting. Okay. Benzinga squawk. Okay. Thanks, Josh. So it's about a minute to resumption. We'll see where it resumes. LODE, I'll put an order on that at 80. But it's got 48 million shares of volume. It feels really crowded. But the pre-market high is 90. A lot of volume coming in there, but sellers are stacked up. You see how it's not breaking through those levels. So anytime you've got a stock and it involves a headline with, Amazon or Apple or something like that, usually I consider that to be a pretty worthy catalyst. So I'm going to put an order on this at 19 and see where it resumes. But, I need to see it resume and continue to squeeze. Watching. So I'm long there, and I'm going to add over 19 on RXT because of the Amazon news. Watching. Adding there for 98 for the break of 19. Looking over 1950 for adding at 1944. Scaling up, looking for the squeeze up to 20. So I'm going to be aggressive on this because we've got a pretty strong catalyst on it. Again, anytime we have a catalyst involving, so taking my profit for now, $3,000. The high is 45. New order goes at 1945. I'm going to watch this dip. Watching down here. See, this is a little surprising to me that it's pulling back this much. Tesla, I'm long for the break back through the highs. So watch Tesla over 1755. And RXT, I want to see whether or not it holds this level for the first 1 minute candle to make a new high. Tesla next orders at 55 to add. This is the first 5 minute candle making new high on Tesla. Nice pop there. So looking for a break through the high of 1755 and then a squeeze up towards 1800. Keeping half an eye on RXT. I really thought RXT would be a bigger move with that Amazon headline, but let's just see what it does. High of the last candle, so back over 19 could be a setup. Tesla, I'm looking for the break over 1755, so the high a day. Pull back down there to 46, looking for the curl back over 1750. The high was 1751.47. RXT just not resolving. That surprises me. Really does. I mean, almost any other time you see a catalyst that involves Amazon investing, you see a big move, but High of Tesla there was 51.47. So my profit on RXT was 3,500. Yeah, nothing crazy. And now Tesla coming back down to 45. This 5-minute candle has 28 seconds left on it. Man, well, I'm out of Tesla. Second loss. So now, man, that's frustrating. I guess it's a harder one than I thought. I mean, one of the challenges are the spreads for sure. Because all of a sudden, just like that, you're down $2 a share. IMRA. The spread on the options is even worse than the stock. There's Tesla right back up. Unreal. Yeah, IMRA I'm not sure about. Oh, Tesla, man, that's incredibly frustrating. Oh man, that frustrates me a lot. To have such the right idea and then super, super frustrating. And then what do I do? Get back in here at 1760? I can't get back this high. It's chasing it. Unreal. Yeah, so IMRA, I see that, but the volume is super light. So I don't know if it'll be one of these light volume big movers, but that one I can't go for. At least Tesla's got 5 million shares of volume. I mean, I'm really kind of thinking Tesla now has this sort of spot around 1800. The high is 62.44. 63. High is 65. So I would say a break of 75, 1775, and a test of 1800 is well within reach. So maybe I'll just move an order up to 1775 and do a longer term day trade if it seems like it's going to get into that level. High is 65. So watch the break of 65. I mean, this is the first 5 minute breakout, and now the first 1 minute pullback after the 5 minute breakout. Let's see what it does. $66. $67. Got an order at 1770. There's 68, 69. Orders at 1770. If I could get a trade through 1770, 1775. I want to be riding the short squeeze. $17.75 is the spot I'm watching. Because if it breaks 1775, then I'm thinking we'll get a squeeze up to 1800. So I covered my swing trade for a loss, $1,600 loss on that. The high here is 1771. My order's at 75. Over 1775, looking for a squeeze up to 1800. Watching. Watching for an ad at 1775. Hands on the buy button. Because I'm thinking a squeeze through 1775 gives us that kind of psychological break for a move up to 1800. Hands on the buy button, watching. Adding there for the break through 75. Now what I'm thinking on this is just riding that momentum for the squeeze up to 1800. There's 77. What a squeeze. 1742 up to 1777, 1780. There's 78. So taking profit for now with small size, and I'm still holding small size. I'm going to put my new order at 1800. I'm going to let it dip for a second. It feels maybe like it after 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 candles. We could have 10 candles in a row, but it feels like it's starting to get a little top heavy. So I'm going to keep holding 64 shares and look for my next trade. LMPX needs to get back over the volume weighted average price. So I'm disappointed on my swing trade. I thought on Friday after that red doji that it was going to reverse off that level, but man, it broke right through it. So, $1,600 or maybe a little bit bigger loss on my swing trade. Still holding 64 shares here on my day trade. So $1,700 loss on Tesla. I mean, but I'm up 18,000 on my calls, and I'm down 20,000 on the ones that I sold. So that's the level of volatility, and that's the importance of doing a spread. So watching here for a possible trade over 1880. Watching. That's the first 1 minute candle to make a new high. I'm taking a little more off the table, holding just 32 shares now. And I'm going to wait for, I maybe should have added there, but the problem, of course, is a big drop, but I'm going to put an order at 1800 so it's ready to go. Because if this breaks 1800, then it's just short squeeze. So that first 1 minute candle that got bought up, right? So we know 1800 is the big kind of line in the sand. IMRA looks like maybe another halt up. 36 is the high. Halt down. 31.56. Just that quickly, it changes directions. So this, to me, it just looks like it's gonna crush short sellers on this type of squeeze. It's really crazy. I mean, you have people with huge accounts betting against this one. All right, so the thing with Tesla is to get another trade on it, I'm still holding 32 shares, which is fine. But to get another trade on it, I need a pullback. So the high is up here at 1787.50. We're close to a double top. A double top, I mean, that could be upside resistance here. Or since it's up almost 8% with high volume, that could just be the line where short sellers just get squeezed and it blows through up over 1800. And if that happens, I mean, it's one of these things. You heard about Robinhood, 40,000 or whatever traders added to Tesla long on the day of the big move. You've got traders who are just going to look at this and be like, it's breaking new highs. I'm going long. They're doing a reverse split at the end of the month, and it's since that news came out has ripped from 13 to 18, almost 18, 1777. I mean, this is insane. Now the 5 minutes extended high is at 1787.50, so I'll mark that in orange because that's an intraday level. These are intraday levels as well. I'll delete those. It looks like maybe it's starting to pull back a little bit here. Could I do a short trade on it on this pullback? I think I've missed the opportunity to do that. I think at this point, I would wait for the 5 minute to set up. Not a reverse split, a traditional split, a regular split, 5-to-1 regular split. Thank you. Reverse splits are what we're so used to because that's what small caps do. This is a regular split on Tesla. That's going to happen at the end of the month. And, it's down $10 off the high, $10 a share. It's kind of crazy. So 9